obviously, tough weekend, which that's a game of football. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, and sometimes if you just look at the wins or losses, you look at nothing else, you kind of lose track of really where you are and what you've done. But I think I did. At least I told our kids. I really think we made improvements from week 2 to week 3, and as young as we are, that's really what we're looking for. I think we played a good football team. Some of the positives that I take away from it. Number one, I thought Kenny stood in that pocket strong, stepped up when he needed to, fired the ball. Again, we took what they gave us. They're pretty sturdy versus the run. They wanted to take the run away, so we took what they gave us, and they obviously, I think we attacked their weakness, which was their secondary. But I thought Kenny played really well at times. I thought just his eyes down the field. When you can compare it to week 1 against Virginia, when you saw those scrambles, what's that tell you? Okay, he's a great scrambler, but it tells you he's looking at the rush and getting the heck out of there. He didn't trust his protection. And when you look at where he was from week 1 to week 3, it's like totally different, because Shakatoni's coming off the edge still, okay? But his eyes didn't leave, and he's making shots. And you look at our receivers making plays, man. I think we had 4 drops. And if they don't drop those four balls, I believe we win the game, period. It just keeps drives going. I mean, Taysir Mack on another positive has 12 catches. Playing outstanding. Had two key, just flat plays where he just goes and gets the ball. He did a great job. When you look at the explosives in the game, and we chart explosives, and we got some stats where we say, hey, if you got so many explosives, you win the game. Okay, this whole thing, messed all our stats up as far as what's going on. But we had 11 explosive gains. They had 3. Okay, and, you can look at the run and the one quick out they ran. We don't tackle very well. We take poor angles. But they had 3. We had 11. You don't lose many games when you do that. You look at the other positive for at least our offense is we don't have any turnovers 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you look at those things, you can win a lot of football games. Unfortunately, we're not getting them on the other end. Paris has got a great one. We take back 50 yards and probably a good call. And again, at least I'd say they were consistent, because they got one on Frenchie where it was about the same thing. So, and again, you look at defensively, have a lot of faith in our defense. When you look at just overall, when you hold, an explosive offense, which they've shown to be, okay, we'll see how that continues to go throughout the season. You hold an explosive offense to 17 points. There's some good things there. On the negative side, you're always looking, okay, now what do we need to do to get better? Those are all great things. Let's keep getting better there. The negatives are, our rushing game wasn't as good as we needed to be. And again, I don't care what they're doing to the box, as I told the offense. I don't care what they're doing to it. We saw that last year. And again, we got to be who we are and what we are. But we'd like to run the ball better. We'd like to stop the run better. So I'm still not happy with some of the things. And again, I guess when you look at it overall, defensively, if you take that 80-yarder out of there, you hold them under 100 yards, and you're feeling pretty good about that. I'll talk about the 4th and 1, because I know it'll probably come up, so I figure I'll address it first. But I go back and look at it, and you can toss and turn all night. And again, there's no coach in the country that feels 100% like, man, I should have done that. Because you know what? If I would have done the other thing and we score, I'd be happy too. So that I'm not a guy that's going to put a square peg in a round hole. But, again, the thinking and the logic, guys, is, I have no regrets with the call at all. I really don't. I look back, and we had 2 plays in that series. My regret is that we didn't score in one of those 3 plays. That's the regret, okay? And my regret is we didn't execute them properly. And our kids know, our coaches know. I mean, we can't have a film session here, but, in your pocket, you got a game plan here, and you got so many calls that you go, it's going to work. And we had 2 that we really thought were going to work. And if I dissected them with you, you go, okay, I see what you're talking about. We didn't have a 3rd one that we said was going to work, like those other 2. And if you didn't execute those properly, which it came down to execution, doesn't come down to, I thought we had the plays, and and we just didn't do it right. And and it comes down to that. And we had faith in our defense. So when you look at really what we did, you kick a field goal there. Which again, on the other negative, we didn't make a 19-yard field goal, which is a problem. But when you look at it, we did what we wanted to do. We wanted to get 3 there. We wanted to go out and play defense again. Our defense had been playing good all day long, except giving up a couple explosives, which 3 in this game of football today is probably on the low of Saturday afternoon across college football from the east to the west. But our defense was playing good, and our deal is we work it all the time as 4-minute defense, 4-minute offense, whatever it may be. We wanted to be in 4-minute defense, and we trusted our defense was going to get a stop. Okay, and I was hoping we get a turnover stop, whatever it may be. We got the ball back with 1:50, whatever left, and we expect our offense to do their 2-minute and go down the field and score. So enough of that. But it's what it is, and we can debate it for the next 10 years, and maybe we will, because we probably won't play them the next 10 years. So I understand. I apologize to the Panther Nation because we all want to win that game, and that there's nobody feels worse about that than the guys in this room. But we're ready to go. We closed it last night, Central Florida. Coach Heupel, they got a great football team. They haven't lost a regular season game since 2016. So if you think we're thinking about anything else except that, you're crazy. Again, 27 straight regular season games. They lost to LSU in a bowl game. They're explosive. They're fast. They're going to snap the ball within 7 to 12 seconds. A lot of them under 10 seconds. As far as the defense goes, they're fast and athletic. I mean, they know what they're doing. Randy Shannon does a great job on defense. Heupel does a great job on offense with their entire staff, I guess. And there's a reason they've won 27 straight. I would say they're kind of like the Georgia Tech offense. They do what they do. They have their system that's different than everybody else's. The way they run block, everything they do, they're well coached. They got a freshman quarterback and Gabriel that is, again, true freshman from Hawaii, and looks like Milton a lot. Reminds you of him. Haven't seen him live, but he throws a deep ball. I mean, he comes from the Rainbow State. I don't know if they call it the Rainbow State, but he throws some rainbows up there. He's a great deep ball thrower. Their timing as well. We got they're really good. Receivers Gabriel Davis, Trey Nixon are really good. The Killins kid in the backfield's really good. They're explosive, and there's a reason they won. They're sitting in a hotbed of players down in the state of Florida. So for all those voters out there, it's no fluke. So questions?
I don't want to debate it for 10 years, but just for 2 minutes, if you will.
How about I already addressed it? I really don't have any. I have nothing else to say about it. I really don't. So you could ask the question.
The logic would be, you need a touchdown in either scenario. You had guys haven't scored a second half touchdown. In your first 2 games, you didn't score a second half touchdown. Again, towards the last season, you had trouble.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any closer than the 1 yard line. You said you liked your defense. If your defense gets a stop there, if you don't score, your defense gets a stop and get the ball midfield, and you still have to score a touchdown. The scenario is the same in terms of what you need to get into the incident. So I'm just sort of curious. You're 3 feet out. Why not?
I explained why not, so I'll explain again. That's why not. That's why we did what we did. And I feel good about it. Again, you can talk about what we did in week 1 and week 2. This is week 3. We are moving the football. So, thanks for the question.
What is Rashad Miller's status at fullback? Could he have helped on the goal line?
Good question, Jerry. That's a really excellent question. He didn't practice all. Wheeler didn't practice all week, so I'll answer an injury question. He didn't practice all week. I didn't think he was going to even play, but. That 4th down and 1, if you watch it earlier in that drive, he almost limps out on the field. Like, you can't limp on the field, but really we just had it set up. We wanted them to see our personnel go in there. We wanted them to say, "Oh, it's this," and that's exactly what they did. Like I said, we only had so many. You only got so many things that you can do, but we kind of pranced him out there. They saw the personnel, and they got in the exact defense that we thought they would. And they ran and that's when we hit Nakia on the vertical. That might have been his last play, but he didn't block anybody on that play either. But he was just a decoy, an injured decoy, and it was really good, and it worked. So I appreciate him going out there for that one play. He might have got another one, but I think that was his one play. But that was what we intended to do. It worked exactly. That's what I said. But we had a 3rd and 1 call, the same thing. We thought it was going to be just like this, and it was. But they lined up wrong on the 1st down. 2nd down, we blocked the thing. One guy blocked the thing wrong, and on 3rd down, we didn't block it. Or at least do the right things. So.
You said you liked 2 of the 3 plays. Which one did you like?
Well, I like the 1st down play too, except they didn't line up right, so kind of messed us up. So that's why I didn't like that because they lined up wrong. Can't control everything. We should have put a card up for him.
This doesn't just do with the 4th goal call, but as a coach, how much do analytics, win probability numbers, inform your decisions as a coach when you're in a situation like that?
Good question. I mean, they do all the time. Analytics are something that we look at. It's not be all, win all as far as the decision, because it all depends. All the analytics are great. It depends on what you're doing. If we're not stopping anybody on defense, it's a totally different ball game, guys. You can throw the game away in a pinch, but it all, the analytics are great. We listen to them. I believe in them, but it depends on how you're playing. I mean, there's some analytics that said on the 4th and 1 that we went for it, they said we should have gone for it on 4th and 8. It's like, that's crazy. I would never say, hey, Whip, it says go for it on 4th or 8. Okay, he'd look at me like, So you look at those things, and there's things you're going to do and you're not going to do.
How much does emotion play into that decision making? Do you try to divorce it, or is it tough in the moment, especially when you're?
No, I mean, emotions don't. They don't play into it at all. Better not. If the emotions just played into it, you go all the time. Again, went 3 times, guys. I've been known to go for it on our own 11-yard line in Virginia a year ago, on our own 11. So we'll go for it when we think it's proper. And again, we kind of know in here what we got, what we're doing, who's in there. And again, you talk about personnel, you can talk about 2 fullbacks or not in the game. You talk about a lot of different things, guys. There's a lot of different things that go into decisions. Next question. Central Florida's a pretty good football team, if you guys didn't know.
You mentioned,
right, Billy?
You mentioned Kenny Pickett's taking a step from week 1 to week 3. What are the things that you're seeing that made him play well the past 2 weeks?
Well, it's again, it goes with the offense. I think it's him comfortable with what we're doing, how we're doing it. It's like, we talked about the new offense, new plays, new formations, new concepts, new reads. It takes time to get all that stuff down. It doesn't happen overnight. We'd like it to get done in camp, but it doesn't. It's like, taking that first test. I mean, if you get to take the SAT over and over again, eventually you do better than you did the first time. And I think it's the same thing. It's a different test. You just can't circle in B all the time, or you got problems on that test. But I think it comes down to, just him being comfortable, and Coach Whipple and the offense coaches just, just knocking it in his head that this is how we, and he gets it now, just slowly coming. And I wouldn't even say slowly. It's come faster than maybe you'd think it might come. So I think he's, it's not slow.
You hear critiques and criticisms from outside, and if you do you have a process to deal with that?
No, I don't listen to him at all, which is why I can smile today. So I'm fired up about that.
They do score a lot. Central Florida scores a lot. You guys have struggled. You got yards, but you're having trouble kind of finishing. What sort of is not happening in those, in those red areas that you guys need to fix?
Well, it comes down to execution, really, when you get down there. And again, we got one time to get down there. We got a substitution there, and we got, and it's going fast, and they're down there, and they're fast tempoing it down there when they get down there, and we can't get a guy in the field. We got 10 guys on the field, so it's hard to stop anybody when you have less guys on the field. That becomes a problem. But Central Florida's good, and they score from the 1 yard line. They'll score from 50 yards out. They're explosive.
I meant you guys scoring. I meant you
Oh,
guys.
us. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Say the question
I mean,
again.
you guys have piled up yards and been very
Right.
effective in terms of finishing drives in the end zone instead of kicking it.
Right.
That's what I was getting.
It's just like anything. I think it's something that'll come. You watch some of the offense tape and you watch guys finishing or not finishing. It's just like A.J. Davis's, screen pass in that first series. It'd be nice to score on that play. Some people score on that play. It's nice to go all the way down there. But, you got a late guy. The guy that makes his tackles on the backside, we could have finished him up earlier. Okay, that guy didn't quit. We don't finish the block on the guy, and he ends up making the tackle. A.J.'s going to score. So it's finishing it wherever it is and knowing that any play can break, whether it's a run or pass, and you got to be ready. You got to be prepared for it to break. But that comes, again, with the process, I believe, of everybody doing the right thing, and again, the offense just gelling, as we move on throughout the season.
How did that 10-man thing happen?
We had a slight injury, I guess, whatever it is, banged up guy comes off, another guy didn't get back on, and you didn't know it in the chaos. So we got to know it. So it's better to go down, but that's a whole different topic.
In college football, there's always talk about Power 5 and Group of 5, and looking at the Central Florida program. I mean, how are they so good right now? How are they on this kind of run?
Yeah, it's called the state of Florida, okay, and it's one of the reasons we go down there and recruit. You look at a Vince Davis you can pull out of there. I mean, they got a bunch of Vince Davises down there. I mean, they're in the backyard. They're all coming to camp. They get it's population. It's playing the sport year round. I mean, it's an advantage down there. They can get guys to walk on that, a lot of people are scholarship and they're just laying there. I mean, it's like, oh, look at that guy. I mean, it's an advantage. I mean, it's a big school. It's got I don't know what the 80,000 people go to that school. I mean, it's one of those. It's going to continue to get bigger, and eventually someone's going to get them in their conference.
I mean, there was a couple times during the last 2 drives where you needed a big play in the passing game.
Against Central Florida?
No,
Oh.
last week. And you threw some, it was like a jump ball, and Matt came down with it.
Yeah.
Are those the kind of plays that you'd rather not run early in the game because they're riskier, or is that something you could do when you don't, it's not, third in the game?
You could. I mean, I think you can do it at any time during the game. And I think that's something we haven't done in the past. And it's our guys getting a feel for who their guys are and who's going to go make that play. And I mean, Tay Sears can certainly make those plays. We know that.
How much patience do you have for your
None.
That's not my question though. For your short yardage offensive problems, so are you losing patience with your short yardage?
No, not really. Again, it's a personnel issue at times. I mean, again, things are different. Maybe it seems like every time we get into a short yardage, there's some review going on. Even in that last drive, there's a review. As Taster catch that, and all of a sudden you can't tempo and get him into something you want to. It's so. I'm not getting frustrated with the short yardage. I mean, I like that 4th and 1. I mean, it's just getting the right looks and letting your guys execute. It comes down to execution. Okay. Again, plays don't make plays. Okay, players make plays, and it comes down to doing it the right way, and it will come. It just takes time to get them to trust it. And again, everybody's anxious out there. No coach is trying to make a mistake or a player's trying to make a mistake. It's going fast, whether it's a coach's fault for not getting 11 guys on the field, or a guy that's so anxious to get that route run that he doesn't take care of the details. The guy did the right things. It's just the details have to be better, and that's what it comes down. It's not like they didn't know where to go, just didn't get there properly at the right timing. And the timing is everything. Those are the details.
You talked last year a lot about how their tempo makes you be vanilla a lot on defense. How much does the fact that you're able to get a lot of pass rush with 4 guys make that less of an impact because you don't have to make those calls?
It's going to be hard again this week. Just looking at their protections. I mean, they're gonna send 3 guys out on a route. They're gonna max protect. They're gonna what we call gap pro. They're gonna have a tight end and a back on one side, and the whole line just stands square, and they got a gap, which is why we call it gap protection. So the 4-man rush, that's why they do it. It's good. It's a good scheme. Like I said, it's equivalent to a Georgia Tech, triple option type. What they do, their system is good, and it creates problems. And if you try to change up the front, then they gash you another way. So it's which way do you want to take it? We'll have a lot of different looks and try to change it up on them and do it with the tempo.
In your first 3 games this season, offensively, there's been a pretty drastic difference between what you all have done in the second quarter as opposed to the rest of the game. I mean, what, if anything, do you feel like can potentially explain that? What factors are?
Yeah, if I knew that, I would, I'd be running in the office telling everybody. You're talking really the second half compared to the first half?
Oh, no, the second quarter compared to
Oh, I think it's, sometimes you're just setting things up as you go, just trying to find out how they're going to react to different things. I think that might have a little bit to do with it. And again, it has to do with your execution and maybe the opponent that's across from you. It's hard to tell what it is at this point, whether it's first quarter to second quarter or second quarter to the second half. So if we had those answers, it'd be easier.
You talked about the importance of being in Florida or playing a Florida team. Is that, I don't know, you guys are not, this is it with UCF for right now, correct?
I don't know. I know who we play this weekend.
Right, I mean, is there any thought process in the future of trying to find some sort of non-conference thing with the Florida team, whether it's them or somebody else, just to kind of keep that going?
I don't think with a Florida team, it's not a matter. I'd rather do it with some local team, to be honest with you, and keep it in our backyard more than it's hard. I don't know how many people are coming up from Florida for the game, but rather keep it where someone can drive and get to a game as opposed to going all the way down there.
Well, but I meant, like, from a recruit, you go down and play down there. The Florida kids watch you play football. They think, hey, maybe I want to go to Pitt.
Yeah. I think we got a good enough name down there that you go down to play Miami, going to play Florida State next year. That's probably would help you more than anything.
That they used Milton last year a lot running the ball in the red zone, especially to get 9 rushing touchdowns. Do they do the same with Gabriel? It seems like he's not running as much maybe as Milton? Is that just because he's young, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's because he's young. I think I think Wimbush is banged up a little bit. I think Milton obviously ran the ball maybe one too many times, unfortunately, and our thoughts are always with him and his leg, because nobody in college football wants to see something like that happen. It's a sad deal. I'll never forget talking to him after last year's game. But I just think it's maybe Josh being a little bit smarter with. I mean, he's a good football player, and the quarterbacks have gotten a little bit banged up, and there's some aggressive guys on defense that are going to get you. So.
Any final questions?
Yes, Salim hadn't played much, came in when Elias got injured. How did he do the rest of the game? And
Salim played well. Salim did a nice job in there, like we thought he would be. Again, we've been missing him for a couple weeks with a nagging injury, and it was great to get him back.
Is Paris Ford giving you what Jordan Whitehead used to give you?
Yeah, Paris is a continual work. He had a great game. Obviously, was very productive, locked in, energetic. I think he's just going to keep getting better every week. He had his best week of practice last week, and I got to get him another. Coach Sanders and myself and Coach Bates, we got to get him another great week of practice because his focus was outstanding. And when he focuses and practices like that, it's guaranteed to have another nice game.